Have you ever pondered why certain individuals appear to despise you right away, even when there's no obvious explanation for it? It's confusing because even with our best efforts to be cordial and courteous, we can come into people who react with icy gazes or aloof dispositions. This phenomena poses significant queries. Why do some individuals feel that disapproval or animosity toward us without a clear reason? For this intricate riddle frequently resides not in our deeds or words, but instead in the complex layers of human psychology. Possibly these unspoken feelings are the result of silent envy, uncertainties or misconceptions that change with time. These feelings can be profoundly ingrained, appearing in ways that impact our communication and connections, and comprehending the motivations of individuals might get hostile against us. Is more than just a curiosity exercise. It is essential for negotiating the complex social dynamics that we daily experience. In this unique video, we'll look at 9 unexpected explanations for why some people may have strong, unfavorable feelings toward us. These not only could insights help you see, but also provide new insights about the connections that influence your life. Before we explore these causes, I would like to pause and provide a sincere gratitude for the amazing support you've demonstrated. Your involvement is really important to me and brings me great pleasure to do these videos. It's even extremely satisfying to read your kind and supportive remarks, as I regard everyone with respect. If this is your first visit, so please take a moment to press the like button to activate notifications so that YouTube can assist you further. People like you find this information. Let's start this transformative journey now. I am you on our adventure together. All set one's jealousy. And jealousy is among the most prevalent and significant factors that could lead to someone developing envy. Is the feeling of animosity toward you, or envy. These destructive feelings act similar to poison in interpersonal interactions that transform awe into disrespect and deference into envy. Jealousy and resentment frequently surface when someone thinks you have certain traits that they want to have, but think they are unable to achieve. This sensation, caused by a number of circumstances, including from your career achievements and individual accomplishments to the very features of your personality or way of life that, in many situations, make you special. And envy are reflections of discontent with their own lives rather than taking ideas from your achievements or a sincere sense of pleased with your accomplishment. They may see your accomplishments and admirable traits as mirrors that reflect their own perceived deficiencies. Or, sadly, this emotion can turn into intense animosity that makes them long for your demise as a foolish method to alleviate their personal annoyance. And the most detrimental element of jealousy and envy have the potential to people turning to slander and gossip, or even deception to weaken your endeavors and successes. They could try to disparage your work or disseminate lies concerning your personality in the intention of lowering you from the "you've been elevated" on a pedestal in their minds. It's important to realize that jealousy and envy are problems that belong to the individual experiencing them, not to you. Although internalizing others is simple, animosity and start to inquire, or when you blame yourself, keep in mind that you are not accountable for another person's sentiments of insufficiency or discontent with your accomplishments, and quality must not be compromised. Just because someone else faces difficulties with their own conflict, as Marcus, the wise Aurelius, said, don't stress about factors outside your control, such as people's jealousy and envy, are obviously beyond your stoicism, and control highlights how crucial it is to concentrate on your personal actions are within your power. Ideas and answers acknowledging that jealousy and a common cause of some people's anger directed at you may be beneficial to you. traverse these intricate relationships with more clarity in understanding how to handle these unpleasant feelings in a responsible manner and not allowing them to influence you is an essential ability for preserving inner tranquility and maintaining your concentration on your both personal and professional growth. Misconceptions and inefficient communication. The reality is that even small miscommunications can develop into intense and persistent animosity. At the core of these disputes is frequently a disconnection in our self-expression or decipher others. Misunderstandings of words occur when a discrepancy exists between the speaker's purpose and the way in which the just one misplaced word, listener misinterpreted tone, or even an inappropriate, a bad facial expression can impact of these brief exchanges. Errors progressively exacerbate emotional obstacles that cause others to make mistakes. Consider you to be rude, aloof, or effective communication, even in adverse environments, is vital in any partnership because without misunderstandings and confrontations, negative emotions frequently surface with ease. Originate from a failure to communicate ideas and feelings in a clear and concise manner that provides access to misconceptions and misunderstandings. Moreover, the lack of active. Our inability to listen separates us. Truly comprehend someone else's perspective facilitates the formation of incorrect presumptions or assessments. These misconceptions go beyond minor arguments and turn into favorable conditions for the development of terrible feelings that people experience when they miscalculated. They begin building a representation of the partnership based on. These breakdowns in communication are what started as a minor misunderstandings can turn into distrust and animosity, warping the relationship and giving false information about the actuality of the circumstance, which is why acknowledging the function of misunderstandings and inadequate communication in evoking unpleasant feelings is essential to steer clear of needless resentment that we must aim for open, honest, and transparent. In every interaction, communication. By providing people with the advantages of the uncertainty and placing ourselves within their shoes, we might look for clarity when confronted with. By doing this, we can avoid uncertainty, needless complaints, and keep connections built on a foundation of health as well as positivity. 3 distinctions in essential principles and convictions. That our planet is a varied place where every individual is influenced by a distinct set of values and convictions similar to pieces of a puzzle that collectively make up the image of their lives when these principles were clashed deeply with those around them. Disagreements can lead to the development of disparities in values do not cause anger. Solely originate from religious or political opinions that people may have on a daily basis. Elements like viewpoints on work ethics, lifestyle decisions, or even what appears to be small details in day-to-day conversations when someone's own values are the only superior or proper method for everybody with having different beliefs can be viewed as a possible adversary or threat. Questioning their identity, a protective attitude erects obstacles that transform small disputes into grounds for contempt when someone's convictions are strongly ingrained. Therefore, any obstacle to them can seem like a personal assault that results in identity and worldview conflicts, where distinctions change from straightforward disputes into obstacles that divide us by not making an attempt to comprehend people in addition to being hurried. Judgments create barriers that prevent compassion and comprehension of these walls, not only obstruct communication, but also let hatred fester in silence, particularly when fed by unrecognized biases and anxieties in Stoic thought. There is a lot of focus on realizing that our convictions and values are the result of our individual perceptions and experiences, as Epicurus stated that we are all products of our personal background and environment. Understanding that individuals may have distinct sets of principles and convictions because of their personal experiences motivate us to expand tolerance and regard for these differences. Candid communication, tolerance, and respect does more than only keep animosity at bay, but also deepen our comprehension and encounter with the world's acceptance that our viewpoint is not shared by everyone. Saying that everything is okay is the essential step in achieving harmony, living together in a pluralistic society. The impact of gossip, and one of the most frequent causes, is gossip. The source of hatred is the powerful. Effect of third parties and rumors, these whispered tales, or made up or overstated, can seriously harm your reputation and image that makes you a villain in the other people's eyes before you've ever opportunity to protect yourself. Like a quick spreading viral rumors permeate every poisoned in the corner of social interactions, breeding and distrust of what's especially. It's alarming because once rumors start to circulate, it acquires a life of its own in order to circulate. Altering and warping the facts, establishing a misleading and unfavorable perception about you that it's almost impossible to stop rumors that frequently target delicate or undesirable elements in your life or personality that seeks to undermine you and produce serious harm, even in the absence of a foundation. Despite the rumors, they continue to acquire traction because individuals have a tendency to think what they hear, particularly when their pre-existing biases are reinforced by gossip. Or, in addition to suspicions, the sensational and the fact that rumors are disguised makes making them even more captivating as leaders, people to swiftly disseminate them as if they were indisputable facts, that the repercussions of bad talk can be severe, encompassing social exclusion and the demise of significant connections to potentially more profound effects on both. Your disdain of your profession and personal life driven by gossip is among the most difficult forms of animosity to fight, because instead of confronting reality, you're facing a skewed perception of you that has been, whether purposefully or unintentionally, others have twisted, whether it's necessary to acknowledge the strong influence that rumors might have, even if it could be difficult to stay devoted to the truth. Upholding your honesty and not being influenced by the negativity that is being disseminated is vital. Actions. Keep in mind, your sincerity and openness in all activities are the strongest defenses against the poison of rumors. Believing what you say and consistently maintaining your principles are the most effective means to expose the falsehoods and eventually improve the way others perceive you. Integrity and truth are ultimately what matter, a power that outweighs any deception and the malice that existence can bring. Your 5 individual fears, and this is a complicated reality, projection, that is frequently disregarded, but has the important part in supplying interpersonal animosity when individuals don't face and conquer their inner. These emotions of insecurity can readily become jealously resentful and ultimately hatred for other people, particularly those who seem to be devoid of comparable fears. Or, these insecurities can cause vulnerabilities from a variety of sources, including historical perceived failures and unpleasant experiences, or constantly social analogies with the philosopher Seneca. When someone feels insecure, it is observed. Unconsciously, they project these feelings onto other people, especially onto people who appear to represent the very, for example, traits they fear or lack. If an individual is uneasy about they might easily create a profession animosity for a co-worker who is succeeding and growing in their line of work. This projection serves as a mental defensive system that enables an individual to momentarily manage emotions of insufficiency by channeling their negativity at someone else instead, then confronting their own vulnerabilities. That this procedure can swiftly turn into animosity as that individual perceives continuously reminding them of their own recognized difficulties and deficiencies. An additional feature of this dynamic is the sensation as though you're in danger. Accomplishments or admirable traits is capable of acting as a mirror, reflecting what others are lacking rather than feeling motivated. Your accomplishment could be interpreted by them as a test of their self-worth, departing their emotions. Reduced feelings of inadequacy can cause someone to respond negatively against you. It's crucial to comprehend, nonetheless, that these fears and the consequent animosity isn't caused by anything you've completed. They are only manifestations of that an individual's internal difficulties. Realizing this can assist you steer clear of other people's negativity personally and keep up a healthy viewpoint in your interactions in addition to comprehension. This dynamic is an essential initial phase in addressing these feelings with empathy and compassion, which can be beneficial, eliminate needless misconceptions, and encourage a more upbeat and encouraging surroundings. 6. A lack of understanding and empathy. In a perfect world, every interaction would be motivated by compassion and comprehension. But reality frequently reveals a distinct narrative. One of the more profound causes on why a person could develop resentment stems from a lack of these crucial characteristics. When someone unable to imagine themselves in another person's position to comprehend what they're going to through the formation of an invisible wall, resulting in misconceptions that may ultimately descend down darkness. Anger and a lack of compassion aren't only the incapacity to sense the feelings of others. It is an inability to acknowledge the reasons and reactions of others, precisely resulting in a warped responses that may incite animosity where there isn't any actual offense. Instead of recognizing the intents of others, they may misconstrue statements or behaviors as slights, which progressively feeds negative. When people lack empathy, they often fall into the pitfalls of discrimination and frequently making snap decisions about the globe. In black and white, this inflexible perspective leads to unfair and superficial evaluations of others, without the tolerances necessary to enjoy context on which their decisions usually rely on erroneous presumptions or surface basic impressions, without making a significant attempt to examine the individual in greater detail or circumstance that fosters the growth of resentment, that stems from ignorance and misinterpreting this lack of compassion as frequently associated with egocentricity and narcissism. People are so preoccupied with oneself that they find difficult to acknowledge or appreciate the experiences, the emotions of others. This self-absorption can lead to an apathy that causes people to ignore the achievements or difficulties of others with contempt or indifference, such as it's easy to stake an attitude for others' animosity or even hatred ignored or minimized. It's important to acknowledge that frequently someone's animosity toward you is more an expression of their personal feelings, constraints, as opposed to anything you've completed. Knowing this can assist you handle these disputes in a more balanced viewpoint, aiming to construct bridges of understanding whenever feasible, or protecting oneself against the bad effects of other people's emotions, sentiments. Understanding this enables you to remain based on empathy, handling these encounters that are empathetic and resilient. 7. Contests or this kind of competition in a partnership is frequently infused with unending rivalry and continuous comparison, creating a potent origin of unpleasant feelings when competition gets out of control. Limits. It may turn into an obsession, a raging bitterness directed at witnessing the someone else fails or is dragged down. Rivalry and competitiveness are frequent. Throughout every sphere of life, from the social circles to the job, And even within families, in a healthy, moderate manner, competition can act as an incentive for personal development. But when competition turns into an obsession fueled by insecurity, jealousy or unresolved issues becomes a consume in a fire, where focus moves away from achieving personal accomplishment to a wish to see other people stumble. Throughout this shift from a healthy competition frequently leads to hostility. When a person feels continuously diminished or eclipsed by another, instead of utilizing this as inspiration to develop and surpass their own boundaries, they become obsessed with disparaging or weakening the other individual. Feelings become more intense when someone views the accomplishments or acknowledgement of someone else as undeserving or worse than what ought to have been. As Marcus Aurelius once observed, theirs unrestrained competition might cause people to damaging actions such as defamation, physical assaults, or sabotage when the it is taken over by the need to win at all costs. Not only makes people ignore moral principles, but also results in acts that are specifically intended to cause harm. These acts not only harm the other people, but also targeted person, but also weaken the integrity and moral fiber of those who obligate them to acknowledge competition, and competition as possible. Causes of animosity is essential to comprehending the nature of among these connections. By recognizing these feelings in others or ourselves, we can endeavor to transform competition into cooperation, or at the very least gaining knowledge about healthy competition. In a courteous approach, keep in mind a person's achievement does not take away from your. There is sufficient space for everyone to shine, and this frame of mind acts as a strong remedy for the animosity that is born from the blind competition. 8. The impact of societal expectations can occasionally cause people to grow unfavorable emotions when they believe that you do not follow the rules or requirements that they adhere to. Dear, picture yourself in a neighborhood where everyone must abide by certain cultural customs and principles, but you decide to take a different route instead. Perhaps you go for an unusual pursue a job or get into a partnership that doesn't meet conventional criteria for. Some people may be surprised by your decision, could even induce unease or animosity, because it questions the notions and values they have maintained for a long time, such as frequently, resentment originates not from you, but from the unseen forces of society, anticipation and apprehension about the unknown. Your choices act as a mirror, demonstrating the inflexibility of their thinking that compels them to face contradictions in their own beliefs. It's important to keep in mind that you have a lot of choices in this life, or little actions that are part of your individual, the pursuit of happiness for oneself and fulfillment, that you are not required to live by others' expectations, irrespective of their objections to being authentic, and it's crucial to uphold your own principles solely for your happiness and well-being by accepting yourself and taking a stand. To societal norms, can you locate the liberty to lead a complete and purposeful life? Don't let expectations or judgments to influence you, of others to determine your course. Embrace your genuineness and possess the bravery to lead a life that is genuinely yours. The absence of acknowledgement sensation of being ignored, or one of the most profound roots, is unacknowledged. Of bitterness and hostility in people, we all want our efforts to be in relationships, accomplishments and contributions to be recognized, but when those contributions are overlooked or underappreciated, resentment can gradually collect and ultimately transform into hate, particularly in competitive settings such as offices, homes, and environments or social networks where the need for recognition is. As Epicurus once said, when someone believes their accomplishments are undervalued, it can quickly turn into a germ of animosity toward those who appear to be given greater consideration. But it's critical to comprehend that acknowledgement is the topic of and differs according to each individual. Some people require affirmation for their expectations and admiration more than others, which demands that we speak honestly and acknowledgement at the appropriate moment to avoid the accumulation of needless, unpleasant emotions, as well as to encourage healthier and more optimistic connections. In the journey of managing these intricate emotional dynamics must be developed. Limits with individuals enmeshed in their personal problems and those with insecurities who spread negativity can disrupt your tranquil environment. Setting limits is not an indication of weakness. It is a strong act of self-preservation frequently results in hostility. Aimed toward you is not particularly related to who you are, as well as more about an individual's internal challenges, regardless of whether envy is the cause. Rumors of misinterpretation of value, conflicts, insecurities, lack of empathy, or competition of these undesirable feelings provide any details about the harboring them. But keep in mind that you're not accountable for the unfavorable sentiments of others. Additionally, you are not required to win over everyone. Knowing these elements will help you cultivate a fair viewpoint on relationships and refrain from allowing negative impact your sense of value or worldview, rather than concentrating on your attributes, strengths, and development healthy, wholesome partnerships. For finally, I would like to depart, sending you a message that encouragement. Keep in mind that every one of us is distinct, with shortcomings of our own and personal roots. To take the reasons why you might not be liked by others are essentially mirror images of the internal conflicts that a person is facing themselves. So keep moving forward with honesty, compassion, and genuineness. Treasure those that truly show you respect and respect you for your own self by doing this, you will establish a healthier, a more contented setting for you, and I would love to hear from those around you. Please share your experience and victories. Join Sana Stoic and activate the Give a Remark and press the notification bell below to share your success story, as well as the difficulties you've conquered. If you're unsure on how to, simply type calm in the remark to demonstrate that after finishing this session, your participation fosters the development of this community in the direction of knowledge and the art of turning each obstacle into an I'll leave 2 more videos for you here in order for you to keep studying and advancing your own personal growth. Thank you for the journey, and I'll see you in the following video.